Regulation J has been a very fun format in VGC. It's always exciting to see a format where every single Pokemon is actually allowed, including all the weirdest ones in the games. It hasn't gotten a massive amount of attention from some players because it's not a tournament format, but just seeing a mythical format like this come up, something that I was hoping for going into this generation, has made me want to try out a few different challenges and things, really properly explore the format while we have it. And that's why I thought it was a good time to do another ladder Nuzlocke. I don't think I'm going to be as hardcore this time about making sure to give credit every time I bring the idea up, but once again, this is not something I came up with myself. It is something I copied from the Tub guys, Adi and Alex, on the channel CK49, back when they did this in Regulation G. I did one as well, copying their format. It was a lot of fun. I successfully completed it. And now I'm going to give it a go in this format, which might be somewhat more difficult, as this is a double restricted, high power level format with everything available. Quick breakdown if you're unfamiliar. So I'm going to start with 4 Pokemon. We'll talk about that in a moment. I'm going to play the Regulation J ladder. I'm on my old account because I haven't laddered in Reg J with it before, so I'm going to start at the very bottom of the rating range. So exactly 1,000. Every time I win a battle, I roll a virtual die, and I randomly get to take a Pokemon from my opponent. So whatever is in the slot that corresponds to the number that the die gives me, I get that Pokemon, and I have to add it to my team. Every time I lose a game, I roll the die, and I lose the Pokemon in the corresponding slot from my team, and it's now gone. If I have more than 6 Pokemon, I can overflow them into this box, but whatever I get from a game, I do have to add to my team immediately, so something from one of the other 5 slots would have to go to the box. And this being a Nuzlocke, hopefully I won't have to use this, but I also have a box for Pokemon that have perished along the way. I can change the sets freely between games, but I do have to use whatever Pokemon was just given to me. Is the one rule about choosing a team from the Pokemon that I have. The goal is to get to 1,500 on the ladder before I run out of Pokemon. The challenge starts when I win a game, so I am guaranteed to get up to 5 Pokemon. But from there, I can fail if I run out. The goal is to get to 1,500. I actually think you can't play with fewer than 4 Pokemon. Hopefully I won't have to find out, but maybe when I only have 3 left is when it ends. But hopefully this will be successful like the last one. And personal editorial choice, not one of the rules. The way I'm going to break up the episodes is the same way I did last time. When I reach an increment of 100 rating points for the first time, I'll end an episode there. So the first time I get to 1,100, the first time I get to 1,200, and so on. Or an episode will end when I lose 6 games in the same episode. That cost me 6 Pokemon, the equivalent of a full party wipe. It's not the end of the challenge, but I'll cut an episode there as well. As for the team that I'm starting with, the original Tub starting point was Mewtwo, Rillaboom, Incineroar, and Rapid Strike Urshifu, and I used that as well in Reg G. They joked about these 3 being the 3 starters of VGC. I did brainstorm some other ideas for how to start this one in Reg J. Like, it probably would be wise for me to use 2 restricted Pokemon in the double restricted format. I'm kind of giving myself a disadvantage by not doing that from the get-go. But I've decided to be a little bit unwise because I brainstormed a few other ideas and I just couldn't find it in me to split this trio up. And if I dropped all 3 of them, then what was I doing for my non-restricted slots, like Pikachu and Eevee? Genuine idea I considered, but no. We'll just keep the trio together. But they get a different restricted partner this time. It's Arceus, which is somewhat more powerful than Mewtwo, one hopes. But that's all the housekeeping. I think the format is pretty straightforward. Not my own original idea, but from here on out I'll talk less about that because, you know, there's no reason somebody can't do a ladder Nuzlocke if they feel like it. I just want to make sure that I give credit because I didn't come up with any of this myself. But now let's get on the ladder. And again, if I lose the very first game, that's fine. I can lose games forever without failing the challenge. The challenge starts when I win one. So, this opponent has an interesting team. Looks like Trick Room stuff. The Excadrill is kind of odd, but hey, they don't have a way to set up the sand, so I actually don't know how slow Excadrill is without sand, but it's probably reasonably slow. Araquanid, Excadrill for Farigiraf, Ice Rider, Calyrex, Galarian, Slowking, and Volcanion. So 3 different Trick Room setters. Can't really overwhelm them. The good news is Swords Dance Arceus, I mean, I know what Pokemon I'm bringing, I just have to pick the order, right? Swords Dance Arceus, when it's set up, doesn't care about Trick Room. It does actually care a lot about Farigiraf. Arceus can't beat Farigiraf, so I'm gonna lead Incineroar with it to pressure Farigiraf if they lead with that. They lead Volcanion and Araquanid. Try to cover for my Surging Strikes, I guess. And I actually think I need to preserve the Incineroar here because I need a way to beat... I mean, maybe I have a few things that could beat Farigiraf, especially since they haven't led with the Trick Room setter, but I'm not going to take my chances with this Incineroar. I'm going to switch out to Rillaboom right now. Just go for the Swords Dance with Arceus. It's Rain Dance Volcanion. I didn't see that coming. And Surf Araquanid. That's pretty cool, actually. And that does a lot of damage to Arceus. Arceus is in danger already. With that in mind, I'm going to Extreme Speed and... This might be a little overkill. I'm going to Extreme Speed and Woodhammer the Araquanid. Extreme Speed KOs. That's good. The Woodhammer goes into Volcanion. Does a lot of damage. Steam Eruption takes out Arceus, though, so I am now out of restricted Pokemon. I think I just go Urshifu and probably lock into close combat, because of course Volcanion has Water Absorb, so I can't Surging Strike it. But now the Ice Rider Calyrex is here, and I can Surging Strike that, so that might actually be preferable. Rillaboom KOs Volcanion anyway. I'm going to Terra Water, get as much damage as I can on the Calyrex, Woodhammer the Volcanion. It could be like Protect and Trick Room or something. We know it's not Choice or Assault Vest Volcanion because he used Rain Dance turn 1. Again, I do not have to use their sets. Not that I necessarily know their sets anyway, but I don't have to use what I know of them. Terra Psychic on the Calyrex, that doesn't help it take Surging Strikes, but it does still take it. We get rid of Volcanion here. Is it a Glacial Lance? Zen Headbutt into Urshifu. Okay, so the Terra Water actually comes in handy defensively there. Incineroar should be able to beat it anyway, but there we go. I win the first game of the ladder Nuzlocke, so the challenge is now on. But the first thing to do is figure out what Pokemon I am getting from my opponent's team. Ice Rider, I don't know why I wrote 46 instead of D6. Can we make that the next meme number, 46? Ice Rider Calyrex or Volcanion would be great, but number 3 is Farigiraf. Okay. That's how it works. Farigiraf is in the 3rd slot, so that's the next Pokemon that I get. I don't really feel like it brings a whole lot to the table on this team, if I'm being honest. Would have loved to get a restricted, but it's my own fault that I only have 1 right now. I mean, I guess I can shut down opposing priority spam into Arceus. I could even run Sap Sipper for a Graph. That could be a funny trick to support my Urshifu. Honestly, I don't hate it. Should I run Sap Sipper for a Graph? It's not like my team is that weak to priority. I guess shutting down opposing fakeouts would be probably more valuable than baiting out grass attacks. So I guess we'll stick with Armor Tail. I could run Throat Spray, I could run Grassy Seed. What do I want Farigiraf to do? I probably want it to be my answer to opposing Calyrex, both forms, and maybe like some other ghost types. I think Grassy Seed is okay. I think I could do Terra Dark. It's already immune to ghost type attacks. I think Terra Water for the Ice Rider matchup is better. Basically build it like a Farigiraf on a Miraidon team, except this time it's the Grassy Seed because it's paired with Rillaboom and not Miraidon. So let's do Foul Play. I could do Imprison Trick Room if I want, but I don't think I need that. I think I'd rather give a Helping Hand to Urshifu and then maybe it one-shots something like that Calyrex. So let's just do this. I can reverse opponent's Trick Room if I really want to. We'll just go Mixed Bulk, right? Load up on Special Bulk because it has the Grassy Seed to patch up Physical Bulk. And here we go to the next game. This is where it gets kind of nerve-wracking, right? I only have 5 Pokemon. I only have 1 restricted. And the challenge is now on. And I think you have to bring at least 4 Pokemon. I might be mistaken, so... But I think if I lose 2 in a row right now, it's over already. Miraidon, Urshifu, Fluttermane, Amoonguss, Therian Landorus. Not the form you see more often. And Torkoal. Okay. I mean, again, I have 1 mode, right? And it's set up the Arceus. I think leading that with Incineroar is still good. I think I want Rillaboom in the back for terrain control. I'd probably just bring Urshifu. I mean, Farigiraf is a bit better to Amoonguss, but I don't think I see it. They also probably don't have Trick Room on their team, even though they have Torkoal. They could have Trick Room Fluttermane, but that's kind of awkward if they do. For them, I mean. They lead Miraidon Amoonguss here. That's Not great for me because they can put Arceus to sleep. I'm going to protect and switch to Rillaboom. It's a little bit passive, but Arceus is in danger if I just leave it exposed here. It's Rage Powder, okay. Electro Drift into Rillaboom, okay. Miraidon does not switch out. It also uses Terra Electric, so I'm going to fake out the Amoonguss here, I guess. Miraidon, I could hit Miraidon with a Grass type attack for actual good damage now, but I just don't want to let Arceus fall asleep. That was probably not the right priority because that did so much damage. Okay, if I can trade Arceus for, if I can trade Arceus's Wakeful Energy for Miraidon, I can live with that. I think I'll go Wood. Yeah, I'll go Woodhammer as well. They could Rage Powder here. They don't. Oh, they do, but the Extreme Speed comes out first. That's good to know. Rillaboom ignores the Rage Powder, but losing Arceus this early is not great. Especially when I have basically no damage on the Amoonguss. I guess I go Incineroar here. But yeah, I'm in danger already. I might have really sabotaged myself with those first 4 Pokemon that I picked. Again, I just couldn't think of an aesthetically pleasing way to add a second restricted. Because how am I going to split up the Incineroar, Rillaboom, or Shifu trio? Terra Bug here. I think I'm down to just Flare Blitz the Amoonguss and Woodhammer the Urshifu. They can't Rage Powder Rillaboom. It could be like U-Turn Urshifu or even Ice Spinner. Close Combat even probably does a lot. Okay, let's... no. I want to take out the Urshifu if I can. Getting big damage into Flutter Mane is also very good. Grassy Glide Rillaboom does a lot now. I might have to switch it out and reset the terrain. Flare Blitz does a ton to Amoonguss, and I get the burn. That's lucky. They Pollen Puff their own Flutter Mane. But how well does it take a Grassy Glide now? The only thing is the grassy terrain is about to end, but it's okay as long as I have Urshifu in the back still, right? Like, it's a little bit awkward, but I think it's okay. My Urshifu might even beat their Urshifu 1v1, but safer to switch Rillaboom out if I get the chance. For now, it's Grassy Glide into Flutter Mane, Knock Off into Amoonguss. Amoonguss protects, that's fine. Flutter Mane drops a Grassy Glide. And yeah, this is where I think I switch Rillaboom out so that I can get the terrain back. And that should wrap this up, I think. I would love to knock out this Amoonguss if I can. Right now. Close combat my Urshifu, that's fine. I mean, even if Urshifu would... It's Effect Spore Amoonguss. It puts Incineroar to sleep. I'm glad that didn't happen earlier. I mean, yeah, as long as... even if they knocked out Urshifu, Rillaboom should just beat their Urshifu. But my Urshifu actually finishes the job, so... Alright, that's another win. I get to roll the die again. I get number 6. That is Torkoal. I just realizing my opponent only had 1 restricted Pokemon. I didn't notice that until now. Wasn't great odds to get it. Would have loved Miraidon. Instead I get Torkoal. So, okay. I mean... I have Trick Room on Farigiraf. It sort of gives me another mode with my team, right? Torkoal can do a lot of burst damage in the right position. It's not the worst thing to get. It's not what I wanted, but I certainly could have done worse. We're just going to do the Torkoal set that I'm familiar with at this point. You can run Earth Power on Torkoal. Many people do. At least in this format, I don't think it's worth it. It doesn't do very much. And I like having all 3 of Eruption, Heat Wave, and Weather Ball because Weather Ball gives me something to click into Wide Guard users, and Heat Wave gives me spread damage that isn't dependent on Torkoal's HP. Yeah, Miraidon would have been nice, or even Flutter Mane, but again, Torkoal is really not the worst thing I could have gotten. So let's get the next game. I do have Drought, right? Okay, good. Taking a bit of time to find an opponent. Hopefully the ladder is active enough that I get, you know, reasonable matchups as I go well, as I hopefully progress up the ladder here, but this team looks pretty scary already. Brute Bonnet, Koraidon, Incineroar, Rillaboom, Miraidon, and Iron Valiant. Okay. Well, I mean, Arceus is still my best answer, right? But honestly, maybe I do bring Farigiraf after this one. I don't know. Torkoal is not very strong into the opponent's restricteds, but it does underspeed them very nicely. I feel like I could. Also feel like, I don't know, Rillaboom is bad into a lot of their team, but it's good into Miraidon. I feel like, I think I'm actually going to do Incineroar, Farigiraf, Arceus, Torkoal. And that might be a really silly mode that costs me the game, but I want to try it. Okay, it's Iron Valiant and Miraidon. It's Clear Amulet, Iron Valiant, speed boosted with his Quark Drive. Let me see if I can get Trick Room here into these two very fast threats. I don't know what the Iron Valiant is going to do. I think that Mon gets Taunt. I don't really remember. Nonetheless, I'm going to use my Fake Out on the Miraidon because Miraidon can just wipe out Farigiraf if I don't. Okay, it's Spirit Break into Incineroar. That's fine. I get Trick Room up for what good that does me. I could Flare Blitz Incineroar right now. Or Flare Blitz Miraidon. But I think probably it's better to knock off and Psychic the Iron Valiant. Psychic KOs, very nice. Knock off does a good chunk to Miraidon, gets rid of its choice specs. That still wipes out Incineroar, but Electro Drift is the rare special attack that makes contact, so Miraidon takes damage back. They also turned off Miraidon's Eruption resistance, and they can't Fake Out into my Armor Tail, so I'm totally free to just click Eruption right now. And I guess Foul Play the Incineroar for a bit of chip. That takes out Miraidon. Doesn't do much. Okay, they knock off the Grassy Seed. That's fine. I wasn't using it this game. What's their last Pokemon? Is it Koraidon? It is Koraidon. Okay, so Torkoal's Eruption is resisted, but, I mean, there's nothing they can do about it this turn. Actually, if I Terra Fire here, Eruption, Foul Play, do I take out Incineroar? And then try to beat Koraidon with Arceus? Looks like it. I guess I also could have Psychicked Koraidon, but I don't know. Taking out Incineroar there felt pretty safe because now Koraidon has to beat 2 Pokemon, right? And it's taking a ton of damage, and it's at -1 defense, so it should be fine. Just Extreme Speed and Psychic here. And then even if they protect and they get out of my Trick Room, Extreme Speed still has that +2 priority. Alright. Well, that gets me to 1100, so that's the episode already. Let me install the next Pokemon on my team before I call an end to it, though. So the die this time gives me number 4, which is Rillaboom. Okay. Well, that's pretty easy. I have a Rillaboom already, and I do once again use tub rules for this. The way that this is handled when I already have a Rillaboom on my team is now I just get a spare Rillaboom in the box. So if my Rillaboom dies next game, I can just call this next one right back up. So I still only have 1 restricted Pokemon, and I am starting to get a little bit higher on the ladder. We'll see what happens next time. But that is episode 1 of the Reg J ladder Nuzlocke. So far, so good. And more to come. Got out of the first episode, but we'll see what happens from here.